Let's go the ORX and the Des head to head with the same coil in my test garden right here. Let's start with the ORX. Actually, I'll put it in my pocket. It's starting to sprinkle a little bit here. I have some jewelry right here at 1.5 inch deep on that blue button right there. I have a 5-inch nickel on that red button right there. And I have a dime about right there, right on the tip of my coil right there. And they're all in iron, right? And I'll show you the difference between these two machines here. And I understand that the ORX and the Des are very comparable in depth, but I'll show you the performance. It's a world apart. And I'll start out in coin mode first. Coin fast. The fast program and deep program. We'll just go those two. So I'll try to ground balance here. I don't know if I'm able to get a good ground balance here. See, the mineralization is all the way up. Mineralization bar is all the way up. So I'll push that button and it'll ground balance to 82. And that's why I use these high frequency coils in my soil, because my soil's super hot, man. Sometimes I'm ground balancing at 78. So hot soil, I want to use these high frequency coils. So I'll make a couple adjustments here. I'll go up to gain 93. And I'll turn my iron off because I know there's a lot of iron here. Actually, I'll keep it on here just for the demonstration purposes. And my discrimination's at 7. Here's some jewelry at 1.5 inch deep right here. And this is a 3-tone machine. So the iron's gonna be low tone and then mids and highs. Very sensitive on the tip of this coil right here, right? Iron coming through. And I'll put it in 74 kilohertz because the lower frequencies don't perform very well in my soil, right? I'll just change it over to 74 kilohertz because 74 kilohertz really does good in my hot soil here. 74 kilohertz right here. See how much better it's hitting that jewelry there than 14 kilohertz? And yes, the Des and the ORX will hit all 3 of these targets here, but I'm going to show you. A lot of iron coming through there. It's not hitting it super great, but it's hitting it good right there. You know, I'm not going to show you the numbers because the numbers mean nothing in iron, right? I don't know how deep it is, right? I don't know how deep that target is. It could be 5 inches deep. Here's that nickel right here in the iron, 5 inches deep right here. Yes, it's hitting it in the iron. You know, a lot of iron around here, right? All that's iron. Lots of iron here. That could be a 9-inch deep coin, or it could be a 3-inch coin, but it is a 5-inch nickel, right? And I can't really adjust too much on you. This is the fast program here. I think so. The coin fast program in 74 kilohertz. And I'll just sweep over this iron stuff. See how the volume level on all these targets are all the same, so I don't know how deep they are. Sure, I can tell a little bit by the tightness of that tone, the tightness of that tone. And here's that dime here at 3 inches. In fast program, right? I think it's right there instead. That indicator, that marker's not on the right spot on it. Now I'll go to coin deep right here, right? And you can't adjust the audio, you cannot adjust this audio response on this machine. So you're gonna get the same tone for a deeper coin as a shallow coin, right? Pretty much mostly. It's the reason why I really don't use this machine a lot. And I'll go to coin deep right here, 74 kilohertz. Change the frequency here, 74 kilohertz. And actually I will ground balance it too, because ground balance it, come on, ground balance, 83, right there, okay. It's hitting it a lot better, but it's really jumpy signal because it's reading all the iron around there, and all the iron sounds exactly the same, no matter how deep it is, right? It's hitting it good at 74 kilohertz. I can even drop the frequency down a little bit here because it's a higher conductive target. It'll respond much better at a lower frequency. That's what I like about these high frequency coils. You can go down to 14 kilohertz frequency or 74, right? Yeah, banging it big time, right? Now I'll go over this jewelry over here at 14, or this nickel at 14 kilohertz. It's not hitting it nearly as good because it's a lower conductive target, right? Now I'll bump it up to 31 kilohertz frequency. I can't tell how deep that coin is, right? That's a 3-inch coin, that's a 5-inch coin. And that's a huge difference, man. You didn't know how deep you need to dig, right? Here's that jewelry right on the surface here. There's a lot of iron here. I'll turn up to 74 kilohertz to really smack it out here. Do really good here. See? See, the frequency has a lot to do with it. Now I'll turn the Deus on. I'll put it in my pocket because it's starting to rain. And the Deus, you have the pitch tones, and it's a proximity feature that you can tell how deep the coins are, right? You can tell how deep you want to dig, right? I'm in pitch mode right now. I'll go to coin fast, where's it at? Deus fast here. And I'll go to, I'm not going to put in 3-tone, right? Actually, I'll start out in 3-tone just to show you. 74 kilohertz right here, and I'll ground balance if I can. Ground balance somewhere here. Come on, baby, come on, come on, give me a reading here somewhere, right there. 79. Come on, come on, give me a ground balance here somewhere. I'll be able to get a ground balance here. 80 right there. I'll just go down to 80 manually. Okay, it's good. 3-tone, Deus fast stock. Performs about the same as the ORX, right? Go off all through this iron here. It's gonna smack that coin. And actually the Deus is performing a little bit better on this target in Deus fast, right? And now I'll go to deep. Stock program right here. Ground balance. Go down to 82 because that's what it was at before. Now I'll go to the menu, go to 74 kilohertz. That's that jewelry at 1.5 inch deep. Here's that nickel at 5 inch deep. But I can adjust something here. I can adjust the audio response. Go down to 2. It sounds like it's a deep target right there, right? So I can adjust this. I can go to 3 here. There's that nickel, or there's that dime at 3 inches. It's a little bit louder, right? It's a little bit louder because it's shallower, right? I adjusted the audio response so the shallower targets are going to be a little bit louder. The deeper targets kind of sound faint. But I'll switch it over to my preference here, and I'll show you the difference between these two machines. And I'm going to talk here for a second. And this And this is where the Deus sets itself apart from the ORX, is this pitch tones, and the adjustability of these tones that you can set on the Deus are amazing. And I'll show you in the same mode here. I'll just make a couple adjustments to go back to coin fast or Deus fast mode here. Deus fast, stock program here. Go to the menu. 74 kilohertz. Iron volumes at 3. I'll go down to 1. A little bit too high for me. Audio response set at 3. And I'll go to discrimination, go to expert, and go down to pitch tones here, right? And raise that pitch up just a little bit so I can hear it. It's a little bit higher pitch here. And I'll go over this jewelry here. Sounds like a very shallow target, right? I can tell that that's about a couple inches deep. Now I'll go over this nickel over here. I'll go back to auto response, turn it on 2. It's a deeper target, right? Now all this stuff is shallow on the surface, right? All this foil is shallow, so I know that it's junk. But right there's a little bit of foil right there on the surface. It's shallow foil because it's reading really loud. It's junk. A lot of junk on the surface here, right? It's a little bit louder because it's shallower than that nickel there. That nickel's at 5 inches deep, and it's 3 inches deep dime right here. See, it sounds like it's right on the surface. Shallow target. Now I'll go to the deep program. Oops. Ground balance, 82. Now I'll go down to, oops, I just messed it all up. Manual, 82. I'll go to pitch tones, right here. Raise the pitch up a little bit here. 74 kilohertz. Something really close to surface. It sounds like about 1 inch deep here in the pitch tones. A lot of iron there. I can drop the iron volume down a little bit there. A little bit too loud for me. And that's one adjustment you can make on the Deus too. You can adjust the iron volume. The ORX does not have that. Here's that nickel. Spanks it big time, and I know it's about 4 inches deep. It sounds like about 4 or 5 inches deep. Come over this dime over here. It's banging. 3 inches deep dime in iron, right? It's a shallow target. So there's a huge difference between these machines, man. And I'm telling you, digging out targets, if you dig, let's say you dig a hole and you get a target like with the ORX, or with any other machine that doesn't have the tone modulation. You dig out a target, right? And you keep on digging and keep on digging, and it's a big piece of iron, right? The Deus will hit on the iron really hard, but I know that it's iron. But with those coins or that foil on the surface or those deeper targets there, I can adjust this machine to where I know exactly how deep that target is. And that's key, man. That's like that's an imperative of metal teching, knowing how deep your target is, man. That's one thing that I hate, man. Digging up a target and then you keep on digging and digging and digging, and then it's like you're 4 inches off, right? And the Deus was able to pinpoint those targets, center it in the coil quite a bit easier than the ORX. That's one struggle that I had with the ORX. You know, I would get a target and I just wouldn't know how deep it was because there's no depth meter on that machine, and it's not giving you a modulated tone. It's actually not a modulated tone. It's what a lot of other detectors have. The louder the target is, the shallower it is. But it still gives you almost kind of the same numbers. But with the Deus, it just sets itself apart from the ORX. Knowing how deep your target is, man, is a key. It's an essential to metal detecting, man, so you can get more targets out of the ground. So you only have to dig that plug one time, right? That's why when I flip my plug over, I want it to be in the plug, not the hole. Because once you start digging down in the ground, you can damage targets. You know, if it's a really fragile relic and your metal detector, you don't really have your metal detector set up very good, or your metal detector's not performing in that soil very good, I just go really easy with those targets. But with the Deus, I know exactly how deep that target is. That's how I can get so many more targets out per day and not damage the targets, not scratch up coins, not break relics. Knowing how deep the target is a huge thing for me, man. Especially when you want to get out 2 targets out per minute, right? The more targets you get out of the ground, the more stuff that you have to get some goodies in the ground. Because you're not spending the time cleaning up your mess, or you're not spending the time on digging a shallow target, digging a huge hole for a shallow target. And you saw that. The ORX was hitting on that jewelry, that nickel, and that dime. It sounded exactly the same, right? So I don't know how deep that target is. With the Deus, I knew that that jewelry was right near the surface. I knew that that nickel was 5 inches deep. And I knew that that dime was fairly close to surface. And in the iron, you know, in the iron, you want to know how deep your targets are, because when you're digging a target out and you start extracting out a bunch of junk and stuff, you still need to hit on that target. It's kind of confusing to explain that, but getting your targets out as fast as possible and knowing how deep your target is a key to metal detecting. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.